Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Addams Family Mystery Mansion. We are still continuing off our beta footage, and I'm happy to say that we're coming closer to the end. There's just 2 more episodes after this, and then we can move on to the more exciting updates. But for now, we might as well continue on where we last left off in part 4, when we unlocked a new character, that being Grandma Addams. This is the lovely grandmother to Gomez and Fester. And it is interesting because, as I pointed out in part 4, Grandma Addams is different compared to another grandmother named Grandma Frump. In the TV shows, as well as some of these movies, they had Grandma Frump replaced than Grandma Addams. But in the movie, it is actually Grandma Addams. It's different. There's 2 grandmothers that kind of look the same, but they're not. They're both witches and whatnot. So in canon, the movie this is based off of, it is implied that they killed there couldn't be 2 grandmas. So they had to axe one of them, and that was Mortissa's grandmother. So both her mother and father are dead. Canonly, this is true. You can watch the film, and they just saying on to this. I don't think she'll return, unless this new second movie comes out and surprises everybody, but I doubt it. But yeah, that's the unfortunate part about this. So yeah, so this is the thing. And the reason I'm telling you this is because the game somehow mistakens Grandma Addams for Grandma Frump. You'll see what I mean in the dialogue. I believe they may have fixed this by now. I think this was because they assumed this was Grandma Frump, not Addams. And it found out, oh, wait a minute, oops. If not, then whatever. I know the team watches my channel, so if they're watching this, comment below and tell me if you did fix this issue, because I'm curious. Or if you played this game up to a point, let me know down below. I'd love to find out if they fixed it or not, because I don't want to play this all the way through just to find out. Just my opinion, but whatever. Alright, and with that in mind, let's go ahead and dive right into the game. So, we start off with going to the gardening station to give herself some of this poison. This was needed for a quest line, so I figured might as well do that for a bit, and just for extended gameplay. You'll notice that these are going to cut in between out because we're getting to a point here. This is another animation that she has done in the past, which is this one, which is from the movie, where she just summons a thing of spiderwebs and the cringy dialogue of, oh, this is what I call surfing the web. And I'm like, oh. That was part of the issue with the movie, was some of the cringy dialogue. Like, some of it was fine, but then it's like, gets to that point and like, ugh! Epitome died inside. Also, this is one of the chests I got. I think it was the rare one. And I ended up getting a moose head. So that's interesting to put down. God, I'm gonna be happy when that noise goes away for something a little bit better. Oh, and apparently I ended up getting enough to get all of them now, so yeah, okay, cool. So I've leveled up all this and I got all that stuff, so yippee, hooray, got that going for myself. But regardless of that, yeah, the tutorial, I think I showed that off. I don't remember, this has been a while, so forgive me. But it's like any other game with a tutorial for the item systems. You place something in there and it's just like, oh, you can blah 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 blah. Apparently there's like storage where you can only have it for a certain time, so they want you to sell some of this stuff. I ended up actually getting a lot of these weird items in the game, so I end up like, any items that are extra, I'm like, nah, I don't want it, I end up selling it. What's weird is that some of the special items you can still sell it. What I think is a kind of a bad idea. They should have special items be like unsellable, so that people don't mistakenly sell it off by accident. But that's just my opinion. So let's just see. We got this going for ourselves, but we need this in order to do this animation. Won't be in this video, I don't think. So, yep. Right. Now we got enough thing for Grandma. So let's go ahead and just give this to her here, and we're gonna wait for this to come through. And time will pass now, and now you'll get to see what I mean by the game confusing which grandma this is.
Ah, Mama, It was kind of the mansion to finally release you. I was almost ready to contact you through my Ouija board.
Funny how she mentions the Ouija board thing, but anyways, yeah, yay, we got Grandma, hooray. So now we got this poison pack, which is supposed to have the ability to unlock Grandma right away, as well as some stuff here, but nothing unique, so no real point in getting it. So there's that. But what I mean by the grandma thing is, like, you might be thinking, oh yeah, no, she's like calling her grandma because, you know, mom, because relationship thing. But no. Here's where it gets the confusing part.
Now that I've returned, we could have a little seance over the weekend.
I'm sure Grandma Addams would appreciate that. You are so sweet, Mama.
Wait a minute, Grandma No, hold on a second. No, your grandma, that's not Grandma from, she's dead. Your grandma dead. God, why did you mess this up? I think they might have fixed this, but okay, whatever.
I know. It's a curse. Literally. But we have a lot to do before we can entertain guests, alive or otherwise.
Alright, it's a curse, so get all this stuff here. But however, there's another quest with Pugsley, so let's see what that's about.
Welcome home, Grandma. We missed you. Like a bomb without its fuse.
Thank you, Pugsley. What have you been up to, you little rascal?
Let me show you. It's gonna be a blast.
Quite literally. Like a house on fire. Get to that and get yourself a TNT barrel. So it's going to be quite easy to do this stuff. So one interesting thing, as you'll notice, that Morticia is like, oh, mama, you know, type of thing. And if you know why that was, in the movies and the shows, like I said, it is implied that that's Grandma Frump. In fact, if you go look at the Adam Wikipedia, they do say, oh yeah, this is Morticia's grandma, right? And they've implied that the dead grandma was Grandma Addams, but they're like, no, that's not what really happened there. And this is the animation of her doing her seance. We'll have to ignore the fact of that happening with Gomez in the animation error. That's a feature magic. Ooh, because she's a witch. Yeah, so this is what you need in order to get the TNT. Oh, it's called TNT, my bad. I thought it was barrel of TNT, but okay. So you need to get dynamite, and then you need the tripwire. It looks more like a... I guess it's a tripwire, but it's more like a bomb in my opinion, like those grenade bombs that you'd hide underneath the ground. But okay. Alright, whatever, game. You call it whatever you want. I'll call it whatever I want. But yeah, you know, we're getting close to finishing off the beta stuff, and then it's going to be official, and you'll notice that things are going to be a lot more fleshed out and better. And I think in Part 7, that's when it's going to be officially released, and then it gets to the fun updates. Yeah, oh, and then he's still starting his fire again, because, of course. Yeah, alright, so we got some more costumes. So, there they are. And I got my TNT without having to craft it, so that's fun. Yeah. Okay, well, that made it interesting, so that saved me the time of day. Alright, whatever. Sometimes the game will do that for you. And we got this, and now we can do this and finish it.
I'm getting emotional, Pugsley. It seems only yesterday you were a toddler playing with gunpowder, and look at you now.
Also, I think I fixed Grandma's voice.
Is everyone ready? I'm gonna detonate this baby in 3, 2...
Pugsley, aren't you forgetting something? Everyone, put on your helmets. Safety first.
Light a house on fire. Craft the helmets, craft the armor, chest armor, and then get the bomb going again. Okay. This is quite fun because if you know, like, part of the reasons why I think people like the Addams and all that stuff is due to the fact that the Addams themselves are, like, I mentioned this in the thing, part 1, is like, they're the only kind of family back in the day that we're actually loving. Like, you usually the joke of the TV families are like, oh, they're wacky and kooky, and, you know, the father's a dum-dum, you know, and the trope like that. But it was the first time that a couple like this is like, no, they generally love each other, right? Like, they'll do anything for each other, like the show True Love kind of deal, right? Which is, like, oh, that's a very odd thing to do, and that's ironic because, you know, for a family that is a bit abnormal, they certainly seem more normal in their own special way. Something interesting, too, is that I didn't realize how popular the Addams was. I remember when I was a wee lad, there was a show called The New Addams Family, and that was something I remember. I forgot about this. Great time for betas. If things look wonky, ignore this. They'll fix this once the game's out. But whoops. I guess the game didn't want me to put it like that. Now, did it? Oh well, it's what it is. Alright, but anyways, what I was saying, what's interesting about the Addams as a whole was, I remember watching the Addams Family as what it was, right? And, you know, these are the costumes for Grandma, basically witch stuff, which is funny because some of them, like the one, reminds me of the old witch from Snow White, and there's the other animation with her just poking the doll, voodoo doll, with a big pointy sword, because... yeah, why even do a dinky tack where you could just do it with a big sword, right? Gets the job done faster. But yeah, anyways, as I digress, up in Canada, one of the interesting things is that they love to promote their milk. Like, it's like a Dairy Canada thing type of deal. Like most things in Canada, they try to promote Canadian-owned brands, right? Well, there was this one weird thing. I was watching a bunch of old bumpers and commercials that was back in the day, back in my ye old childhood, of channels, TV channels. One of them being YTV. And YTV, the best way to describe it is it's basically our version of Nickelodeon. Anyways, with that in mind, there was this weird Halloween stuff in the back, and one of the promotions they did was they ended up doing a parody of the Addams. Which is like the Cheddar Family or something like that, where it's like changing name, like for example, instead of Uncle Fester, it's Uncle Cheddar. Cousin It was Cousin you know, stuff like that, right? This is like it's kind of weird, but interesting promotional stuff. Also, I'm just showing off some Grandma's animations here because it's quite interesting with what she does. You know, I like to show off each new character's stuff because that's part of my deal, right? But anyways, yeah, I digress. That was weird. I ended up discovering this recently, and I'm like, oh, this is cringe. But, and for some reason I can't see the title or anything like that. But, yeah, and Grandma got added to the market because, I'm sorry, it's called the market right now, but it'll change to requests. Again, beta, so don't worry, they'll fix it once it releases, believe me. But, and I digress. Yeah, so I've been looking at a lot of stuff, and I'm surprised how many Addams stuff there was. You know, the marketing and everything like that. Especially for one iconic character, which I'm going to be talking about once I unlock them. Unfortunately, it won't be for a little while. And it sucks because recently there was some sad news of... the person who played this character recently passed away, which is unfortunate. It was one of the most iconic characters, but you wouldn't know the guy played him because, again, this character was only famous for being, it was never in the actual original Addams stuff. This was actually made, I believe... I might be mistaken on this, but it was for the TV show. Like, the TV show added the names and all that stuff, but I'm not sure if it was introduced in the original TV show or in the movies. But Cousin It became... oh, I guess I spoiled it, but yeah. Cousin It was one of the more interesting Addams characters, right? And it's interesting because this was a made TV thing. And that's not unnormal to hear, because sometimes TV will add more to the lore. We've seen this within Goosebumps stuff, and whatever. Anyways, this is a special spell station. This is the items we can get. There'll be a lot more later down the road. Also, there's this weird thing at the bottom there. Yeah, that ends up just disappearing after that. They change it to something else. So, yeah, it's one of those. Here's some interesting items to craft, but then they'll just get rid of it because it didn't fit the bill for them. Painful, I know. I don't know what that whole thing was about. I guess it was just me being, bored. That's what it was, me being bored. Okay. Yeah, so a lot of this stuff, what we notice is that a lot of the Addams quest lines, they're kind of going to go quickly as far as dialogue goes. It's going to be mostly just kind of looking at stuff like this. Once we get into level, I believe 7 is when we are going to end the video, and then level 7 will be the next part, which I think is part 6. And it will be interesting to see how this whole thing kind of goes about. But yeah, anyways, the Addams has certainly been pretty big and important. In fact, I'm surprised that, you know, a lot of people were kind of criticizing the, oh, and hooray, look, I got a costume finally. After unlocking boxes, I got my first ever costume. And I got this too, so I might as well open up the... Yeah, oh yeah, woohoo! Yeah, spin that slot machine, buddy. Anyways, yeah, we'll ignore the fact that he jumped over there. Alright, so let's dress him up in this weird getup. Okay, cool. Yep, there he is. Look at that. I do not believe this costume unlocks a new animation tasks. I know that they end up doing that for some of these, but yeah. Here's a new costume anyways. And it's interesting with some of the costume designs and choices, because some of these costumes are indeed referencing some stuff within the lore and the story, so that is quite interesting. Anyways.
Pugsley, what a show! I haven't seen a blast like that since my time as a nurse in Normandy.
Okay, wow, what a reference there, but ooh. Oh, the game designer certainly likes to make things a little bit more interesting now, don't they? And I'll give them credit. A lot of the stuff they reference are interesting because it takes it with a lot of different mediums. Some of them from the movie, some of them from the actual TV show. Like Lurch has a certain costume that is referencing of a certain show. The original show. In fact, one of the quest lines that was introduced into this game a while ago last year actually was based off of the show. And they introduced this weird character that I have to talk about because once we get to that point, oh boy, it's going to be like a mix between two different things. But anyways, let's continue on with the main quest line, shall we?
What's the papyrus for, Mama?
The spell gives the power to cast more spells, naturally. A genie in his double taught it to me. Smart fellow.
Of course.
Morticia, I'm concerned about Wednesday. How's her education coming along?
Well, you know, she's at that age when girls have only one thing on their minds.
Ah, yes. Curses. Sometimes I feel like I never grew out of that phase.
A looming concern. Get that item and get another item. So yeah, we're gonna be putting in the grandma's room. It's actually, I have enough money for it, so I might as well put these both down and then complete this quest, and then that will be it for no, not yet. Not yet. Hold on a second. Not yet for grandma. There's one more things with grandma. So
Thanks for providing Wednesday with the basics at which needs for her education, Mama.
I hope the girl learns how to make the most of them.
alright, time for Wednesday's lessons.
There you are, Wednesday. I was looking for you.
Hey, Grandma. Am I late for crossbow practice?
No. Today we have a summoning lesson. Come along and pay attention.
Intro to summoning. Is that a 5? Okay, whoops. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Okay, so we're gonna have both Wednesday and Grandma do the summoning thing. Like, we've already seen this animation with Grandma, so here it is again. Better, properly stationary on the flat surface instead of a weird stairs, but okay. And then, of course, we've seen this with Wednesday. This is her doing that thing. And, yeah, after this quest line, Grandma's done for this episode. We won't see her again, because now it's going to go to the family doing whatever they want to do. So,
Don't be disappointed, dear. You did well. Maybe the spirits are feeling shy today.
Okay, if we're done with lessons, I'm gonna play with my dolls now.
Well, goodbye, Grandma. It was nice talking to you.
Women in this family are always expected to be talented witches. Sometimes a girl just wants to play with her dolls.
Soft skills. Alright, have her do an animation and refill a request. So it's basically something very easy to do. And, yeah, we're gonna basically buttons whichever they have. So we just have to finish that task and then we'll be done with that. But yeah, Grandma Addams' thing is done for this episode. And then it's just gonna be the family doing random things before we get to finishing off and leveling up to part 7, which is going to be the continuation of that. Now, what's interesting is this quest line here and what they've been doing. It's interesting how they've been doing it because, oh, and this is funny. He's playing the game, right? So he goes over here, does this, and then all of a sudden, he just fades in and out. I think they have fixed this animation glitch, but it's like weird. It's supposed to be him playing by himself, like him against himself kind of deal, that whole spiel. But it's weird how the animation kind of glitches out during the whole beta build of this. But, oh yeah, look at that. I got some rubies. Nice. Alright, so we've done that. So we've done that quest there. So now, what I have to do... I'm going to have to do some more buttons because... it didn't process it. Like, yeah, I know. This is the dumb thing about the game, is that you have to click on the actual button to say, take me to this. I can't just go there and do it myself, because the game will not recognize it. It'll be like, oh, no, you need to click on it, right? And then it activates, right? God forbid you open up the chests like they ask you to, but then it's like, oh no, you have to click on the go of the click the chest, then we'll count. It's like so dumb. It's something that they'll probably have to fix in the QOL quality of life change, but I digress. Yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff here, and the mansion will slowly start to evolve into the hoarder wonderland that we all know and love today. So, alright, we got this going on here, and let's go ahead and finish Wednesday's task.
They say playing with dolls can teach children many valuable skills. I think that's true. I'm getting better at performing autopsies every day.
I'm not surprised. I think Wednesday would be probably a good mortician in the future.
Maybe if I didn't have to go to cage school, I could learn some useful things. Like geography. I've always been interested in the Bermuda Triangle. Or history. For example, the time of English tutors was fascinating.
Alternative history. Have Pugsley do a thing and then fulfill a request. So this will be fun to do. Yeah, or you know what? I say that, but it also she could probably be good when it comes to being a taxidermist. I can see that. So I don't know. She has a future in the morbid, that's for sure. And it's interesting how some people actually ended up. There was like this short-lived series on YouTube. It was like Adult Wednesday, and I don't think it continued on because I think eventually the dreaded cease and desist came along, and that's the sad thing about these fan projects, is that's what usually ends up happening, and usually a lot of people tend to be smart enough to kind of be like, oh, it's a spiritual successor, or it's a tribute to kind of deal. Oh, there's Parker, by the way, but anyways.
The court of people have found this doll guilty of being bland and boring.
The executioner is ready, and whack! Off goes her head. The crowd cheers.
Some girls lose their heads over dolls. I choose to reverse the trend.
Well, the children are done playing around, so now it's time for the adults. Let's see what they're up to.
It's important for a witch to get a proper education, even if she chooses another vocation. For example, when I went to school, I majored in spells and hexes. But my personal calling has been botany.
An education, get some plants. Oh, you know, you and Mr. Brewer could probably be best of friends. I'm sure he'll probably think the same way. Although, no, actually, now that I'm thinking about it more closely, I think he may not, because the way you're like, oh no, the flowers are kind of not good, you know, it's like, nah, flowers, you know, yucky kind of thing. He probably will have a problem with that, with the clone, right? It's weird. We're kind of making the clone of Dr. Brewer be Dr. Brewer, you know. It's like Frankenstein's monster is now just Frankenstein instead of Dr. Frank. It's just confused. Don't think about it. Another classic of R.L. Stein's, by the way. But anyways, let's continue with this.
Is that your poisonous red road jam? You have to save me a jar.
Eat it slowly, Gomez. That way, the suffering will be more exquisite.
Alright, we're done with that. So now we just need one more quest, and then we'll level up, and then we'll unlock the new area, which is not the premium greenhouse. Although I will end up unlocking it, unfortunately, to get rid of that bottom thing there, which sucks. But yeah, let's find out what they need.
I hope Wednesday finds her true calling one day. Perhaps necromancy.
Yes, she had an unusual affinity for, things that were previously alive.
But it's entirely up to her, of course. We'll support her no matter what.
Alright, so previously alive things do fulfill a request, which is the poison stuff. And it's funny how they mention that, because in the actual animation movie this is the whole thing based off of, there's an animation, in fact there's an animation quest added to the game, which is tributing to that one moment when she goes to normal school and they do the frogs, and she's like, I'm gonna be like Frankenstein and make the frogs live, and end up making all the frogs live, and for some reason they turn into zombie frogs. And, you know, and then they do... It's weird, too, because that movie ended up doing a lot of horror references. It's like, oh, there's it, you know, because, weird. This usually there's, like, a clown behind these things. And it's like, you know. And then there's that weird screaming from the body snatchers when the actual creature realizes that it's not actually one of them. So they go, you know. I think I mentioned this before of one of my... Squeezer Revolution things with the aliens joke, but you know, I digress. Oh, congratulations, I finally upgraded. By the way, at one point you can upgrade it to a point and then it'll just say, oh no, you can't do it no more because you can't have, like, there's no way to do it. But yeah, I digressed. Anyways, let's just finish this quest off and be done.
A few drops of flower poison and voila! Withered flowers looking so much more cheerful.
Karamari, your elevated gardening from mundane to truly morbid. I love it.
And we're done! Congratulations! Now we move on to level 7. And there we go. And as you can see, it's a lot of kitchen utensils because we're finally going to be unlocking the kitchen. This will be the next episode, focusing in all of that food stuff. And after, when we get to level 7, is when the game will finally update. So part 6 is going to be the last we see of the beta, because part 7, the final conclusion to this, is actually going to be the full release of the game. And I'll talk more about that whole thing when we get close to there, because there's some interesting update features and things to add. Especially when it comes to the promotional stuff they sent out through emails, which I'll showcase. But anyways, let's see this quest beginner, shall we?
I need to get my kitchen up and running. You see, I believe a woman's place is in the kitchen.
Mother, I'm surprised you place credence in such a repetitive notion.
No, it's because I've heard the kitchen is the most dangerous room in the house.
You know, she's true. A lot of dangerous things like knives and forks and the spoons and God knows what else. Anyways, the quest Nightmare Kitchen, unlock the kitchen area, which let's see how much is needed. Oh, I have enough, so let's do that then. And it will be ready to be unlocked for the foreseeable future. Oh yeah, we can also unlock the bathroom, by the way. The bathroom right in the kitchen, because... Of course, when I think the best place to go to the bathroom is right next to the kitchen, because you just eat and it gets out the other way. Okay, I'm just not gonna do that no more. Alright, we need the money though, but... Alright, we've done that now, so we'll get ready and going for the next thing. And now we've unlocked the bathroom, so I think Grandma has one more animation using bathroom stuff. down here. Yeah, the sink. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll end it off on that with Grandma doing this animation, which uses the bathroom sink. So we'll just put this here where it's supposed to be belonging. Alright, yeah, let's do it there. And now we're going to have Grandma do the animation, which will drop us some light bulbs. So here it is, her fixing her hair with the blow dryer. Because, of course, this is exactly how you do it. Or this is how they do it, the nice frizzle look that they're looking for. And, yeah, that will be it there. And, of course, yeah, got some more cool stuff with the box. Right, so that will be it from me. And I think that is, we're getting very close to the end here, and I'm kind of glad for that, because it's not like I dislike any of this stuff. It's just more fun stuff comes in later on with the updates. It's one thing for the beta to kind of be like standstill, but as soon as the game launches, then that's when the fun stuff comes in. That's when they put a lot of effort. That's when they're like introducing some things, and oh boy, I can't wait to tell you all about the stuff that he introduced in the game in 2019. But until then, I'll leave it off of there. When we continue next time, we're going into the kitchen to make some food. So, I've been Grim, and I'll be seeing you next time for whatever the Addams have cooking up for us. So until then, stay kooky.